Hey guys, Jenna Boss Interwebs here with my top 10 favorite video games of all time. And I bet some of you have always wondered what my favorite video games are. And I bet most of you are like, who is this weird girl on my monitor right now? Am I right? But anyway, 3 things to remember. Number 1, this is my very first video, so please be nice. I know how people can be really big jerks on YouTube. Number 2, I'm sorry if the quality of the footage isn't that great. I had to use my phone to record this because my webcam wasn't working. Number 3, these videos, or these games, are just my opinion. These are just my favorite games. I definitely don't think that any of these games, with the exception of a few, are like the best of all time or anything like that. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, I really appreciate it, and without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Coming in at number 10 on my list is Pokemon Stadium 2. Now, I debated for a while on whether or not to actually put this on the list, because, honestly, it's not that great of a game, but I decided I just spent way too much time of my childhood playing it to not put it on this list. And I chose the second one because it's just a lot better than the first one. Mostly the mini-games, I'll be honest, that's the main reason why I chose the second one. The mini-games are just awesome. They're so much fun. Really, that's what I like the best about this game, I think. And I think that's all I need. At number 9, I have Mario 64. And I'm sure this game is on a lot of other lists too, but come on, it's Mario 64. I mean, it's our lovable little plumber in 3D for the very first time. I spent so much time playing this game as a kid, I think I actually lived in the castle for a while. And I don't really think there's anything else I can say that someone else hasn't already said better, so this game is just awesome and it definitely deserves to be on this list, and pretty much everybody else's list for that matter. Coming in at number 8 is Yoshi's Island. And I'll be honest, I never actually played this game until it was ported to the Game Boy Advance. And I literally fell to my knees and wept at all of the wasted years.
Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Well, okay, it wasn't that dramatic, but I was disappointed that I wasn't exposed to this game a lot earlier. I mean, I was born in 1993, so when I was actually old enough to play video games, the Super Nintendo was becoming old news. But anyway, I fell deeply in love with this game. It has some of the best controls I have ever used, and the artwork and music are just so charming and so beautiful. In my opinion, this game is completely underappreciated. Yoshi's Island is one of the best games that was released on the Super Nintendo. Animal Crossing. How I love you. Your music is so charming, and your characters are so cute and lovable. You know, this game made me feel a lot better about how much of a loser I was in middle school. Well, I mean, I'm still a loser, but it made me feel like I actually had friends. And who needs real friends when you have Animal Crossing friends? They always give you birthday presents, and they're always happy to see you. Well, not always. But seriously, Animal Crossing will always hold a special place in my heart. Others who love this game will understand completely what I mean. At number 6, I have the Grand Theft Auto series. Number 1, this excludes the first 2 games because I haven't played those. And number 2, sorry, I couldn't pick just one. Grand Theft Auto 3 practically invented its genre, and is still incredibly fun today. I actually just recently downloaded the 10th anniversary edition on my phone, and I find myself playing it pretty often. I think I was about 8 years old when my dad first brought this game home from the video store, and it just blew my innocent, naive mind. I remember sitting in front of the TV all day long for weeks, just exploring Liberty City. You mean you can steal any car you want? Kill any person you want? I don't even have to go do the missions if I don't want to? My head exploded. My childlike mind couldn't handle it. So naturally, I begged and begged and begged my parents to buy me both Vice City and San Andreas when they came out. With Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3, I was never too interested in the storylines because I was a little too young at the time. But with San Andreas, I was mesmerized. The diversity of the missions and the vast world to explore kept me playing long after I had already beaten the game. I still pick it up pretty often to this day. So, knowing how much I loved these games, I was naturally very excited when Grand Theft Auto 4 was announced. I had big expectations for this game, and I was definitely not disappointed. I'm sure I don't need to go into the details as to why this game is great, but I will say this. Nico, Roman, Pachy, Jacob, and all of the other characters in this game are definitely far deeper and more rounded than any other cast from the previous games. I love these games, that is all.
That is no excuse. Roman? Roman! Are you sleeping, you fat
No,
fuck?
no way.
Come on!
What's the time?
Well, judging by the reference made in my countdown cards, you were probably already assuming these games were going to make this list. And how could they not? The Pokemon games are all incredible, no matter which generation you're talking about. I guess if I had to pick just one generation, I'd say the Johto region is my personal favorite, but I love them all. Out of all the games on this list, I can honestly say I have spent the most time with these. I mean, who doesn't love stuffing innocent creatures into little balls and forcing them to fight for you? But seriously, these games are all about adventure and becoming a legend. You spent hours and hours catching and training the perfect team of Pokemon that you would eventually challenge the Elite Four with. The best part about this? You start out with one Pokemon and no knowledge at all of the world around you. Also, you're a kid. Which is actually pretty messed up now that I think about it. Okay, on the surface, this all sounds pretty lame, but the real joy of this game is the journey. You spend your time learning everything about the various types of Pokemon and how they affect one another, which gives you an incredible sense of accomplishment when you finally finish assembling your perfect team. Even if your rival Blue, or whatever obscene name you decided to call him, was always there to try and bring you down. Coming in at number 4, I have The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and also Majora's Mask. Yes, I chose both of these because they are equally magnificent. Ocarina of Time is the exact definition of an epic adventure. Searching for a mysterious princess, saving an entire kingdom from the dark forces of an evil tyrant, traveling through time, it doesn't get much more adventurous than that, folks. Ocarina of Time is all about growing up and learning how to stand up for those who are unable to stand up for themselves. Traveling forward in time and witnessing Hyrule in shambles and all of the hardships the characters go through due to Ganondorf's cruel actions only fuels your desire to prevent all of it from happening in the first place. This game moves me in ways I can't describe with words, and Majora's Mask is no different. Majora's Mask. I honestly don't know where to begin with this game. First of all, I absolutely love the vibe the environment here gives off. There is a crushing despair you constantly feel when reading the testimonies of the characters preparing for the apparent apocalypse. That moon is always looming above you, staring into your very being. It is very strange to me that this game was marketed to children, because honestly, it handles some very mature subjects. I mean, think about it. If Link doesn't stop the moon from crashing into the Earth, everything and everyone you have ever known in this world is going to perish in flames. But the dark tone of this game is really what I love the most about it. The quirkiness of the characters and the obscure adventures are what makes Zelda games unique. They are unlike anything else I have ever played, and I mean that in the absolute best way possible.
Whoa. This is the straw.
Alright, I might get some hate for this one, but at number 3 I have Final Fantasy XII. In all complete honesty, I have no idea why people hate this game so much. Really, I don't. It is a fantastic game, and in my opinion, it's definitely one of the best games in the Final Fantasy series. I don't even know where to start. Final Fantasy XII was released on the PS2, and its graphics rival some games that came out years later. This game is just gorgeous. All of the character models are so detailed and beautiful. Even if Vaughn does sort of look like a girl. And don't even get me started on the environments.
This game has a fabulous storyline and some of the best voice acting I've ever heard. When I first heard this game was going to be set in Ivalice, I was ecstatic. Not that I don't love Final Fantasy's other worlds, because I do love them very much, but there's just something so magical about Ivalice to me. It's a little more realistic, and the incorporation of magics and magicite just seems so much more believable to me there. And this game is huge. There is so much to do here, and all of it is equally interesting. I think I put about 150 hours into one save, and I still hadn't done everything. The bestiary is giant, and the amount of rare game is astounding. Finding all of the optional bosses and espers is so much fun, and fighting them is even more fun. Which leads me to the battle system. Once again, the battle system here gets a lot of hate from hardcore Final Fantasy fans. And again, I don't understand why. It's very fun and easy to use, but it also challenges you with the strategy needed to use gambits well. I loved the fact that you could choose which enemies you wanted to fight rather than being randomly pulled into battle. The boss fights are where the gambit system really shines, and I had so much fun using different strategies and methods to take them down. Overall, this game is just amazing. If you're one of the people who didn't play it because it was different than other Final Fantasy titles, you should definitely give it a shot. You won't be disappointed.
How old were you again?
Nice fun.
Surprisingly rude.
Try to grow up, please.
Number 2 is the Mass Effect series. I was actually reluctant to play these games at first because I've never been very into sci-fi stuff, but eventually my curiosity got the best of me. The decision I made that day to put Mass Effect into my Xbox was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. I could sit here all night and ramble away, and I would still not even begin to tell you how much I love Mass Effect. I have never immersed myself into a game so completely. The best thing about it all is that even though it involves futuristic technology and tons of aliens, they make it feel so real with the incredible writing. I don't think I've ever cared for fictional characters so much in my life. There were points in these games, mainly the third one, where I almost broke down in tears. BioWare does such a magnificent job of shaping all of these characters and worlds in such a way that you honestly feel pain in knowing that they could all be obliterated by the Reapers. Well, enough about the story for now. The gameplay is just as awesome and gets better with each installment. The biotics are so fun to use, and the weapons really feel like they have weight to them and handle very different from each other. When playing on the harder difficulties, you really have to strategically use biotics and weapons together to succeed. The fact that you can decide whether to be good or evil really ups the replay value, and being able to import Shepard and his or her decisions from the previous games is a phenomenal touch, and really makes the games feel seamless. There's not much else I can think to say about Mass Effect. It's just an awesome adventure, and I can't imagine anyone not enjoying it if they give it the chance it deserves. And before you ask, no, I did not hate the ending, I actually loved it. A game as mature and epic as Mass Effect deserves a realistically brutal ending.
You made up for it.
Well, I suppose I did just write your name in the stars.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture.
That's right, my #1 favorite game of all time is BioShock, and I'm sure many of you already understand why. Game Informer described this game perfectly as a masterpiece of the most epic proportions. This game is a benchmark in gaming history and really raised the standard of what a truly great game really is. Everything about BioShock is fabulous, but I'll talk about the gameplay first. The weapons are equally effective and all fun to use. The addition of alternate ammunitions for each gun is great too. In most games, if you receive a melee weapon in the beginning, you rarely use it past the first couple of levels, but in BioShock, the wrench is useful throughout the entire game, and I really appreciated that touch. In addition to the awesome weapons, BioShock also includes plasmids, which are genetically infused powers that take on a kind of magic feeling. Fire plasmids, ice plasmids, plasmids that can confuse big daddies, plasmids that can shoot bees out of your hands. So many plasmids! The amount of plasmids and the diversity of them is astonishing, and what makes it even more extensive is the fact that you can upgrade them. This ups the replay value enormously because of how many different ways you can combine them. The boss fights are pretty fun, but your real challenge is defeating the big daddies, especially on the hardest difficulty. Once you do defeat a big daddy, you come upon a little sister he was protecting. These are the beings that harvest Adam in Rapture, the material needed to upgrade plasmids and even your own abilities. You have the option of harvesting the slug inside of her for extra Adam, or saving her for less Adam with the promise that you'll be rewarded for it later. This really connects you to the game in a way that no other game offers, because it's a choice related to the story, but it also affects how you will be able to play the game. Now to discuss the story. You play as Jack, whose plane crashed into the middle of the ocean in the opening cutscene. You make your way to a set of stairs which lead you to the descent into Rapture, an entire city built at the bottom of the ocean. As you make your way through Rapture, you're attacked by splicers, which are people who have been driven insane and mutilated by their addiction to Adam. A man named Atlas points you in the right direction, and he and a scientist by the name of Tenenbaum continue to guide you throughout the rest of the game. As you make your way through the beautiful but crumbling city of Rapture, you come across many things. Propaganda, advertisements, quirky characters who usually end up trying to kill you, ghosts of past residents, and also very interesting audio diaries that link together more intimate stories that took place during the fall of Rapture. All of these things also educate you on why Rapture fell, the society's addiction to Adam, and also a long and distraught battle between the creator of Rapture, Andrew Ryan, and a man determined to make Rapture his own, Frank Fontaine. What brings this story together so beautifully is the phenomenal voice acting. It really makes you feel like you're right there in Jack's shoes. I'm not going to go into the ending in case there's someone watching who hasn't played BioShock, but I will say that the ending and also the events leading up to it are absolutely superb. Well, I've rambled on enough about BioShock, so this concludes my list of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
So what's the verdict, guys? Was it horrible? Am I a huge jerk? Was it kind of okay? Did it change your life? Well, tell me what you thought in the comments, and tell me your favorite games. Maybe we can talk about it. And also, give me any suggestions you have for videos you'd like to see, like top 10 lists, or games you'd like to see me play. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support, and if you want to support me further, subscribe, share, like the video, whatever you want to do. But thanks for watching again, guys, and I'll see you next time.